Hi, this is Asbog the Gaming Orc. I'm going to talk to you guys about Battle for Azeroth. This is a pretty awesome new expansion for World of Warcraft. Just came out, but I'm going to talk to you guys about some Demonology specs. As you can tell, I just leveled the 120, and my Orc looks like Aztec warrior of some kind. It's kind of interesting. Of course, you can always transmog this stuff to make it look better, but I'm going to talk to you guys about Demonology mostly today. And first of all, let's talk about race. What race should you pick? To be quite honest, when I was doing my research on race, pretty much all the races are quite good. I found a really good resource from Wowhead here, and you can see just sort of the breakdown of like what people are playing here as race. For the Horde, you have Undead and Blood Elf as a huge majority of Warlocks. Just because, you know, you want to pick more or less the awesome factor rather than the OP factor. I, of course, am a gaming orc, so I'm going to play orcs. But the reality is there's a very negligible amount of difference. You know, you might get 1% difference in these particular race choice selections, like human over worgen, or, you know, but the top one actually is troll because of their berserker ability. Orc is very slowly behind at 0.1, but I'm going to focus in on Demonology, and with Orc, one of our passives is pet buffs. And for PvP, Orc has stun resist, which I really like as well. Dark Iron Dwarf is an interesting one if you want to play Alliance. That would be kind of a cool new way to play the game with a new race. Surprisingly, Nightborn and Void Elf are actually pretty low on that tier list for alternative races, which is kind of interesting for damage output. So I thought that was a little interesting. My recommendation on race is just play what you think you want to look at, you know, what is going to look good and what's going to be interesting for you, because, I mean, that's your character, and the difference is so minor. Now for PvP, human is good, was pretty good. But there's advantages and disadvantages to every race. They all have abilities. Undead has the Will of Forsaken. I like playing Orc because of stun resist. Warlocks are very susceptible, and just a lot of just the way the game is designed, the way stuns have always worked, it locks your character totally out of any action, so you can't even defend yourself really. There's so little, unlike most like fighting games and stuff. Like, you have no active defense. So stun resist is just an all-around good choice if you want to play an Orc. So there you go. There's a few new mechanics with Demonology that I want to talk with you about. One is that we still use 5 soul shards. These soul shards are used to summon powerful demons like Dreadstalkers, our Fel Lord, any other really powerful demons, our Vile Fiend, these new and cool demons. So we have a lot of demons, so we need a lot of soul shards to get those demons up. How do we get soul shards? Well, we get soul shards by casting 2 types of spells, and also like Doom again ticks off, or some of our other talents. We can generate, there's more ways to generate soul shards or keep the soul shards that we have. But the 2 main ways we get it is by casting Shadow Bolt, which is our filler spell. We cast that, and it's got a 1.9 second cast. And then we have a larger spell called Demon Bolt, which has a 4.3 second cast, but does about twice as much shadow damage as Shadow Flame damage. This one does shadow damage, this one does Shadow Flame damage. So the problem, how do we get it more instantaneous? How do we keep the fluidity up? Well, we developed a new mechanic called Demon Cores. Every time a demon dies, we gain a charge meter, or whatever you want to call it. So every time an imp dies, we gain a little bit of this demon core power. This demon core power charges up, and then we get these little wings around our character like this. And you can see these wings allow, I've sacrificed 2 imps here, so it gives me 2 stacks of a demonic core, or 2 demonic cores. So the fantasy behind it is that when my demons die, the energy comes back to my character, and I'm able to cast instantly a Demon Bolt. So the Demon Bolt, I cast this out and I generate 2 soul shards. When I cast a Shadow Bolt, I generate 1 soul shard. It's a little bit confusing. It's not that bad. So with this, that's why I love Power Siphon, because I just sacrifice my imps that I have out. I instantly generate 2 demonic cores. That way I can cast 2 instant demon bolts at someone. Instant cast time. I don't really ever want to cast demon bolt by itself because the cast time is so long. So you really only want to cast demon bolt when I have the wings out to actually generate the 2 soul shards to summon more powerful demons to snowball and build the sort of zoo fantasy which I'm talking with you guys about. Let's take a look just at the changes. Demonology's got a big rework. Let's take a look at the PvP talents. What's happened is I used to have to like tell you like, hey, there's a specialization PvP talent bracket over here. So I'm going to assume you're level 50, that you've gotten your PvP talents. If not, it's going to hurt you a little bit, because you can turn on war mode, and in the world outdoor PvP and outdoor PvE you can use these awesome abilities, and it's going to change the way some of your talents are. Little guys rolling up on me here, these little Zandalari guys. So the first thing I choose, you can choose one of the gladiators medallion and so forth, and I always try to choose relentless because I constantly just get chain stunned, and I want to reduce that effect. Now it stacks with orc stun, or it used to when I researched it way back, and I'm pretty sure they haven't changed it, but it used to stack, and that's why I use it, because it's brain dead for me. I don't have to like hit a button. Adaptation is okay, and then gladiators medallion is for really good arena players that want to communicate with their teammates, especially like their healers, be like, so they don't, when they expect like the big burst coming, they can break out of it. You know, my arena experience is like most of the time 2 melee guys jump on me and I'm getting zerged down. I have to survive. So, you know, having a gladiator's medallion doesn't really do a lot for me. So I have to have good healing and good support DPS, and it's just kind of challenging sometimes. Master Summoner is just an awesome mainstay of like the spec. It really makes summoning your Dreadstalkers convenient. It's a passive, call your Dreadstalkers, now an instant cast. So that's really good. I use Call Fellord. Now, what I was noticing with the damage on this, it doesn't do as much damage as it used to before. It says summon a Fellord to guard the location for 15 seconds. It's on a 1.5 minute cooldown. Any enemy that comes within 6 yards will suffer 5% of their maximum health and damage, and players struck will be stunned for 1 second. What this is really good for is node protection. But you're going to find with Demonology now that we have like a lot of pets, and it's kind of difficult to manage all the cooldowns and pets, and this is just another pet that you can use, and it's just badass to begin with. I mean, if I summon this guy, look at this. It's like a 10-foot tall, I mean, it's just a 10-foot tall badass looking demon, just like Jack Rip roided up demon. And if you get within this circle, it's a way to protect you. Now in PvP, it used to be really good for just kind of anti-melee. The problem is it only lasts 15 seconds. I think before, way back in the day, it used to last 30 seconds. So it was actually really good, but it was a final tier talent, and we couldn't pick it like with other abilities. So it's very good. Again, sticking with the zoo concept, I want to summon lots of demons. This is just one demon. In PvE, it works pretty well too. Again, it's on a 1.5 minute cooldown, so it's not that bad, but it works with all the other demons. And what's really cool is it works with Demonic Tyrant, which will make your demons last 15 seconds longer. So if you cast Call Fellord, well, now you get that. It's out for 30 seconds, which is really good, especially in probably PvP situations, if you can pull it off. So you'd summon Demonic Tyrant, and then you'd summon Call Fellord. So Demonic Tyrant, let's read the tooltip. This is another big change to Demonology. Basically, Demonic Tyrant, when you summon this guy, it says summon a Demonic Tyrant, increases the duration of all your current demons by 15 seconds. So your demons already have to be out and to get the buff. So it does not cost you any soul shards to cast this, and Call Fellord costs 2 soul shards, okay? So it doesn't cost you any soul shards to bring this guy out, which is a big plus. So the idea is you're summoning all your demons, and then you cast Demonic Tyrant, and he keeps all your demons out, so you don't have to refresh your demons. This is sort of, Demonic Tyrant is a great change to Demonology. It's really replaced Demonic Empowerment, that 12-second buff that you would have to constantly spam on yourself, which was really, a lot of people did not like that, from what I was talking about with other Warlocks. So this is a welcome, interesting. Also, the demon looks badass. Let's summon this demon. First of all, the animation as they come out. I mean, look at this just badass Demonic Tyrant. It looks like he's from like a S&M party, ready to jack someone up again. Another just roided out demon with giant claws. He's like the Doomguard too. He just throws stuff. That's what I've seen him do. He just throws things at people. He doesn't really like melee attack. He doesn't have that much HP, so if a player wanted to, or a bunch of mobs they could just try to kill him. But again, he's already put the buff out. He lasts for, it's on a nice convenient, 1.5 minute cooldown. He lasts for 15 seconds, and he buffs all your demons' damage by 15%. So again, you're getting all your demons out, and then you cast Demonic Empowerment. And that works really well with the Fel Lord. Call Observer is a mediocre demon. It used to be a lot better where you could like area of effect this thing. Now they've made it a little bit easier where it just summons right over your head. So the Warlocks in general, and especially in PvP, we don't want to get close to people because we want to stand back. And a lot of our demons have 40-yard ranges, so we don't need to be close to you to start sending our pets after you. But it's really a flex spot, really, if you want to think about it. Because Call Observer and Call Fel Lord can be different, especially in Arena, where you can see like, hey, are we fighting 2 casters or 2 melee and a caster, etc. Curse of Tongues is very good. These other ones, Curse of Fragility, I've saw people are like, oh, I can use this in PvE and drop like an elite mob's HP by 15%. No, it doesn't work that way. It only works on players. Nether Ward can be pretty decent for PvE because you can reflect magic at things. Call Fel Hunter is really good as a stun lock, silence. As Demonology, we already have a lot of stun locks. And let me talk a little bit about stun locks. For Demonology, our pet right now, we have a stun lock with throwing axes. And then we have a pretty awesome but probably underutilized ability. You have it bound to shift 1, just the Shadow Fury ability, boom. And it has a huge area of effect. And it has a big AoE stun. Again, it's not a long duration stun. Like the person's not just stuck in a stun like you are kind of a rogue. You're stuck in like a sap or whatever. You're just stuck. Like you can't do anything. And again, that's why we play Orc. So we want to get out of those stuns. But we have that, and then we have the stun, and then we have Summon Felguard. We have another stun, and then if you top it off with called Fel Hunter, you have another silence. So you can literally lock someone out for a long time, especially like in PvE. PvP, like healers, you can do that. But in PvE, it's not bad either because you can do this. Now, I don't know if this works in if I do this, it might not work against players because I don't use it. I want to use Call Observer anyways. Call Observer, summon a Demonic Observer to keep a watchful eye over the area for 20 seconds. So it lasts a little longer than our Felguard, the Fel Lord. Anytime an enemy within 20 yards, so that's a 40-yard diameter, so it's pretty big, casts a harmful magic spell, the Observer will deal 5% of the total target's maximum health. What you should know about this is that it does not cost any soul shards. So if I cast this, it does not use anything, and you can see it just spawns right above my head. It looks sweet. It's just another zoo aspect, and it works well with the whole zoo concept and summoning lots of demons. The fact that it costs no soul shards, huge plus, and the fact that you can it pairs and works with all your other abilities is awesome too. So remember that it can also work with Nether Portal, and anything that can work with Nether Portal is great. So just keep in mind, like Call Observer, it's a decent pet. I guess against casters, you should be surprised how many things cast magic and what casts magic. If a priest casts, let's say in PvP, if a priest casts Smite on you, boom, he's going to get hit with the harmful magic spell. Anytime a Warlock casts a dot on you, they get hit for 5% of their HP. And it starts to add up, especially if you use it with Demonic Tyrant. It's up for 40 seconds. So if anybody again, you can create a very protective defensive shell and around your character. One thing about Demonology too is it feels to me it is pretty tanky. I've had 5 people jump on me and I pop on Unresolved just in World PvP right now, and even fighting pulling multiple mobs, it does really well. So let's take a look. Those are the PvP talents. Now let's take a look at the core talents and talk a little bit more about some of the changes to Demonology that's made this just a really fun spec to play, something new and fresh. Let's talk about the first tier of talents here, the level 15 talents. Let me just, before we walk into the talents, a lot of these talents are coin flippers. They've done a really good job balancing this out. Some of it's just depending on your play style. What do you want to play as? There's no really de facto Demonology spec. I'm just showing you one aspect of the way you can play Demonology. In the next video, I'm going to show you another way you could play Demonology, and I'm going to tell you the plus and minuses of it. I think this is just the most fun way to play Demonology. It's a way you don't have to play it. But I can talk about the plus and minuses of each one of these as we go through it. In the first tier, we have Dread Lash. Your Dreadstalker is charged into battle. Their Death Bite now hits all targets within 8 yards and deals 25% more damage. Then you have Demonic Strength. Infuse your Felguard with Demonic Strength and command it to charge to your target and unleash a Fellstorm that will deal 400% increased damage. That's on a 1-minute cooldown, and you have to use it as an ability. And I believe it's tied to your character because you're commanding your demon, so it's a global cooldown, and it's on a 1-minute cooldown, which isn't too bad. Bile Scourge Bombers is cool. It costs 2 soul shards, which is a big difference between the other two. So this one actually costs soul shards to use. It costs 2 of them. Open a portal to the nether above the target, from which the several blight scores will pour out and crash into the ground over 6 seconds, dealing 740 shadow damage to all enemies within 8 yards. So again, you can see the common theme. This is an 8-yard attack. This is also, the Fellstorm is an 8-yard attack. This is also an 8-yard attack. The strongest one is probably and especially for PvE, it's the Bile Scourge Bombers, which is just a fun. That's the one I use to level up with because it's just fun, and it works well with PvE. It does a decent amount of damage. Since it's on a 30-second cooldown, it's good. It does use 2 soul shards, which can be problematic. Which pairs okay with Soul Conduit since you're using so many. It's more like you're using so many soul shards, but by and large they're all pretty equivalent. Demonic Strength is one less. If you want to pick Dread Lash, and since we have instant Dreadstalkers, I think it works really well. If I'm in a dungeon though and my Master Summoner doesn't, or for whatever reason I don't have Master Summoner doesn't work, I'd pick up Demonic Calling and then pick up Demonic Strength, because Demonic Strength seems to be the go-to one, to be honest with you. It does, it's on a 1-minute cooldown. It has better burst potential than Dread Lash. It does similar damage on a per-minute basis, probably as all 3 of these. Cool factor is Bile Scourge Bombers, because these awesome bats come out and destroy people, and they do a good amount of damage. In conclusion, all 3 of these are really good options. I picked Dread Lash because it's just a passive ability. I don't have to hit any buttons. I don't have to worry about cooldowns. And it my Dreadstalkers do, their initial bite damage does a decent amount of damage, and they hit everything within 8 yards. As I'm commanding them over to, it's instant burst damage, and it happens every 20 seconds. So the tier 30 talents are pretty good too. A lot of the de facto people pick Demonic Calling because they can't cast instantaneous Dreadstalkers, and the Soul Shard reduction is also really nice. Power Siphon is really, I've been testing it out, and it works really well with Inner Demons. And before I continue, Doom is also really good. Let's read all these off though. Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt have a 20% chance to make your next Dreadstalkers cost 1 less Soul Shard, have no cast time. That's pretty good, especially if for whatever reason you don't have instant Dreadstalkers. It's probably the one you want to pick. Power Siphon is really good. It combos well with Inner Demons because I can just caster right now. I have 2 demons. Both of my demons are sacrificed. They'll come back in a few seconds. But it lasts, and see, I already had a demon just respawn right there. And I instantly get my demon bolt. So this is the demonic core stuff, where I get these 2 wings above, next to my character as a default UI. And I can instantly cast a demon bolt, which will do 2400 damage. So that's instantaneous burst damage and soul shard generation by sacrificing these demons. It's on a decent 30-second cooldown. So it's a really good way to recharge soul shards by sacrificing very little demons. Doom is, people don't like picking Doom for whatever reason. They want to pick Demonic Calling just because it has a smoother play style. But I'm going to show you something kind of interesting here. This is a pretty neat website called LackOneStopShop.com. Check it out if you're interested in this. And what this is this shows a sim data on 2 targets, 3+ targets. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And you can see pretty much Doom is like the top tier spec for damage. If I click this talent, if I can see, these are sim results, and it'll actually say like what type of spec that you'd be using here. So this one uses D strength, Doom, SV, GF, and SAC. So if we go back and to our talent pool, so you use demonic strength. That's the one that I told you. Instead of you want to use Dreadlash, that's okay. Demonic call, they use Doom, Demon Skin, right? Let's take a look. So Demon Skin, they didn't even pick that one in there. SV, Summon Vile Fiend, and then what's the other one you picked? GF is Grimoire Felguard, and then the other one is Sacrifice Souls here. That all stacks well. So that'd be like the top tier PvE spec based off sim data. But the guy was saying that Doom, it doesn't really he said that it really, playing with Demonic Calling, feels smoother. So there's a difference between like sim data, where it's like you're perfectly executing thing, there's no server lag, nothing, and also it's situational. But what's interesting with this particular spec is that Doom is really quite good, is what he was saying, over Demonic Calling. I've been trying Power Siphon because it's something new, and I'm just telling you, it's also very good. It depends if what the situation is. A lot of the time, you need a way to generate soul shards for Demonology. Power Siphon is an excellent way to do it, especially with inner demons. If you want to play like a meta spec based off of what this guy is recommending, you can pick up Doom and those specs that I just talked to you about. You can check out his sim information on LackOneStopShop. Say that 10 times fast. In conclusion, I picked Power Siphon just because it's something new and fun, and I'm leveling up Demonology. I want to pick Power Siphon. Doom is another one I used. The problem is in PvE mobs that they often die. They don't die within 30 seconds. It does a decent amount of shadow damage, and it does generate soul shards. I think Doom is actually going to be better in Battlegrounds because you're fighting multiple opponents, and it's going to be really good. You're dotting up everyone with Doom as it ticks. Inflicts impending doom upon the target, causing around 7,000 shadow damage after 30 seconds. If Doom kills a target, which it almost never does, there's a 5% chance for it to summon a Doom Guard for you to fight for 25 seconds. It's just it's another cool factor bonus. You get this Doom Guard to come out to help you fight. That's pretty awesome. Level 45 talents is Demon Skin, Burning Rush, and Dark Pack. A lot of the players I've been checking with, I've seen Kobrak. He was a guy who used to stream and play Destruction, and in Arena he used to pick Dark Pack. Now you can use it while you're suffering from controlled parry effects, which is nice, but I want to pick Demon Skin because it's just something easy. In this tooltip, I wish they would just tell you how much the shield is based on your current life. So this scales with gear. I worked out the math. It lasts for 20 seconds on a 1-minute cooldown, which is good. The problem is I'm sacrificing life, so I'm sacrificing 14,000 HP. I gain 36,000 HP. Remember, I don't really gain health. I do have Soul Leech, but the way it works, I'm not really gaining that much compared with Demon Skin, which automatically gives me that buffer of about a 10,000 damage shield, and it regenerates constantly. I think Demon Skin is the go-to thing. In certain PvE situations, you're going to use Burning Rush to like move around to help you. Even with a lot of the PvE encounters when I was doing raids in Legion, I never needed to use Burning Rush. And since it kills you so quickly, it does 4% damage every second. You know, you can only do it for 20 seconds without dropping over. In Demonology, we don't have a lot of ways to heal ourselves besides just cookies and some life draining. And life draining is not that great. It's okay. I picked Demon Skin. It just seems to be the best one. We got another really interesting tier. We got From the Shadows, Soul Strike, and Summon Vile Fiend. And if you looked at the sim data I just showed you, the Summon Vile Fiend picks out. It's just an awesome thing. If I summon this really awesome animation from the void, you get this really awesome looking demon, you know, nasty looking demon here. I mean, they've totally reworked Demonology. They've added new models in. It looks fantastic. This demon looks sweet. It's got this awesome like razor spin, and he charges at your opponent for like 5,000 damage. He has a slow wind-up animation, but it's really good. Let's read all of them though. Casting Dreadstalkers costs the target to take 20% additional Shadow Flame damage from you from the next 12 seconds. That works decently well, I think, with our Succubus build, but otherwise it's not that great. Soul Strike every 10 seconds. Command your Felguard to strike in the soul of its enemy, dealing 1762 shadow damage. It's not that, it's okay. What's really cool about it, first of all, it's a 10-second cooldown. The problem is they should have it as an auto feature, so it automatically does it. The problem is you have to again command it, so it takes up a global every 10 seconds, so it's like a constant button you have to push. So that's kind of annoying. The nice thing is though, it generates a lot of soul shards, so it's actually decent. The damage is probably comparable to Vile Fiend. It's just the Vile Fiend is just awesome. And again, with the zoo fantasy that I'm trying to tell you guys about, you know, I want to summon just badass demons to come out of the Twisting Nether and have my opponent, you know, this thing charges at you. It's going to give you a wake-up call. You know, it's just kind of cool. It works really well in PvE. The problem I don't like with Vile Fiend, it's only out for, you know, it's only going to be out for 15 seconds and a 45-second cooldown. So it's only up 1/3 of the time. Again, it works really well with Summon Demonic Tyrant, though, if I can catch it. And Demonic Tyrant's on a 2-second cast. So if I get it near the end of it, it'll like extend the duration quite a bit on that. So that'd be nice. Summon Vile Fiend is sort of just the go-to, I think. I feel like it is the meta spec you want to do in your tier 60 here. And level 75, this is a defensive one that you guys can pick. Dark Fury, I tried it. I had a little duel. It's just not that good compared to Mortal Coil. Mortal Coil is sort of your single target like healing way. Since we have such a limited amount of healing, I feel like I want to be able to heal for 20% of my maximum HP, and also allow me to either cast Shadow Fury on the person into another ability, or basically cast Mortal Coil, then Fear. Okay, Demonic Circle is really cool ability because you can just vanish in certain maps like Warsong Gulch, or in certain PvE encounters. It can help you out. You have to make a macro to cancel out the Demonic Circle so you can recast it. I talk about that in my other videos. My macros video, I believe I talk about that. So I picked Mortal Coil. It's on a 45-second cooldown, which is very nice. And again, it gives you a 3-second Horrify ability, so it allows you to cast a spell. I need to resummon a demon or summon an ability. It gives me a free cast, or to really get off on someone, or a mob even. So when I was leveling up, I picked Soul Conduit because Soul Conduit is decent. You have a 1 in 6 chance whenever you spend a Soul Shard to automatically do it. The problem with Soul Conduit is that it's totally RNG based. You don't know if you're going to get that soul shard back or not. So if you high roll, yes, you get a lot of soul shards back, and you can like cast another Hand of Gul'dan or something. Especially with all the demons that we do have at our disposal, especially if we did pick up Bile Scourge Bombers, Soul Conduit works a little better. Enter Demons is just awesome. It works. It's just cool. You passively summon a Wild Imp to fight for you every 12 seconds. You have a 10% chance to also summon an additional demon. It's pretty awesome. But the reality is the meta spec is actually Grimoire Felguard, I believe. When I was reading through this guy, he just thinks that the Felguard is just too good. It does a lot of damage. Summon a Felguard who attacks and deals its targets 15 seconds, dealing 25% increased damage. So it's dealing a lot more damage. It's on a 2-minute cooldown. It costs 1 soul shard. And the problem is it lasts only 15 seconds. That's the issue I have with Felguard. This Grimoire Felguard, it's on a 2-minute cooldown. It seems to just take too long to get going. While Enter Demons is just an awesome passive ability. And yes, like a Succubus will come out. There's a 10% chance that as these things are coming out, as you're fighting stuff, like other sweet demons are going to come out of the Twisting Nether and help you. And again, it kind of fits the fantasy. So what I recommend is either you pick Felguard or the Enter Demons. Again, when I'm leveling up, I'm trying new things. I want to try Enter Demons because it's just cool. It's also easier for newer players who just want to constantly have demons. And again, it synergizes well with Power Siphon. If I want to pick up Doom or Demonic Calling, I'd probably drop Enter Demons because I don't have the imps out ready to go. Just right off the bat, I can just do it right now and get the 2 power cores or demonic cores to cast into my Demon Bolt to get the soul shards right. So instead, I would pick up Grimoire Felguard. Last but not least, for the level 100 one, the awesome factor is Nether Portal. But let's talk about each one of these ones here. Sacrifice Soul seems to be the go-to one, to be honest with you, because it's a passive ability and you're casting so many Shadow Bolts and Demon Bolts that you're just using it all the time. And you're going to be using this so much. It's definitely not the coolest one out of here, but it's okay. So Sacrifice Souls, Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt deal 5% additional damage per demon you have summoned. It also works combos well with Enter Demons because I already have 2 imps out. I'm constantly summoning more imps. I'm always having like tons and tons of imps. As the fight goes on, more demons are coming out. So Sacrifice Souls works really well. Demonic Consumption, your Demonic Tyrant now destroys and absorbs all the remaining power of your wild imps to empower himself. So the remaining power of your imps, the power of them is the duration they have left out. How you want to use this, when I was reading about this, is you want to be able to, you have to summon 2 Hand of Gul'dans, 1 with 5 soul shards. So you have to summon 6 imps, basically. And so you summon a Hand of Gul'dan, you cast either a Shadow Bolt or a Demon Bolt. So you get more shards, you cast it again, and then you summon your Demonic Tyrant. And then your Demonic Tyrant comes out, sucks away all your imps away, and does a damage buff. Now, that doesn't really fit with my Zoo fantasy, the character I want to create here, where I'm summoning lots of demons. I don't want my demons to be destroyed in any way. If I want to destroy them, I'd cast Implosion. But this is a way to increase damage, but it's just not, apparently it's not like the meta spec. Now, for the cool factor, we have Nether Portal. Tear open a portal to the Twisting Nether for 20 seconds. That already sounds awesome. Every time I spend soul shards, you will command demons from the Nether to come out and fight for you. This summons just like random awesome demons. It's just awesome. You can even summon Prince Malchezaar, which is just awesome as a 40-yard range. How you actually, the problem with Nether Portal is it costs 3 soul shards to cast, has a 2.4 second cast timer, and it's on a 3-minute cooldown. So there's a lot of problems with it. The main problem is it costs 3 soul shards to use. Let's just say this. I have 5 soul shards. I cast the portal. I summon my Vile Fiend, then I summon my Grimoire Felguard. That's 2 demons out of the portal, right? So I cast 2. I want to get Demon Bolt, so I cast 2 more so I can cast Dreadstalkers. That's another demon out, right? I cast Observer, that's another demon. I cast another Demon Bolt. I cast Summon Felloid, that's another demon. So right there, you have a lot. Then I cast Summon Demonic Tyrant, that's another demon. So you can see how it really fits the Zoo spec. The nice thing about Nether Portal is that it lasts for 20 seconds. So unless you get stunned or something happens to you, in PvE it's just amazing. It really works well against elite mobs, boss fights, bigger mobs. The problem is, what I find is that as your gear is going to get better, you're going to handle the lower level mobs easier. But for like bigger fights, it's just going to be, the cool factor is very high. The meta, though, appears to be sacrifice souls, because you're constantly in this game casting Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt. And with that, you're going to be having a lot of demons already out. But for cool factor, you want to use Summon Nether Portal. Let me see this Nether Portal opening. It's just this badass portal there. And you can see there's a demon that just came out right there because my imp disintegrated and it resummoned. So it works well with inner demons because these imps only last for 12 seconds. So this combo together real well. One last thing I'll say before we exit the video here is that when you're thinking about specs, and with World of Warcraft and other Blizzard-related games, you want to think about combo and synergy potential on like what works well together. So for instance, like Bile Scourge Bombers works with Nether Portal. So those things combo together. Doom works well when I'm fighting lots of mobs, right? That work together. Now my mob dies within 30 seconds, which most of the time it does. Doom does not probably outperform Demonic Calling, just as an example. I want to pick Summon Vile Fiend combos well with Sacrifice Souls and Nether Portal, right? Because whenever I'm summoning a Vile Fiend, a demon comes out, or it creates an extra demon for my Shadow Bolts, right? Inner demons combos well with Power Siphon. So when you're designing your spec, you want to combo it together very well. And you want to think about that as well with your PvP abilities. Things can be situational. You can change things. The last thing I'll say is they've done a fantastic job reworking Demonology. It's a very fun spec to play. They've changed it completely. It's just really cool. I'm looking forward to continuing to play. They've made Battle for Azeroth seems to be more PvP focused. A little bit more confrontational, which is kind of really fun. It's something that this game needs. Probably a lot more ganking, and just a lot more fun. Demonology is one of those specs that has gotten just a lot of love from the devs, and they've done a fantastic job, I feel like, with it. As the weeks go by, I'll make more videos and tell you how viable it is for PvP. I think all the specs are going to be decent. That's how I've always felt about everything. I think it's a lot more that has to do with the player and how well the player does. And I will share a PvP spec with you. Probably won't vary very differently from this, but there could be a few differences that could happen with the PvP spec, because you want something faster. Maybe Soul Strike would be better, and Sacrifice Souls would be better than Nether Portal. But I want to kill people with Nether Portal. It's going to be a lot of fun doing that. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it hasn't been too long for you. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.